the way we're going to be looking at emotions is like we're at the dinner table and we're eating, and then a wasp appears and it goes zzz, and it's like near your food. Now, if we get too frantic and we start moving crazy, the wasp is probably going to sting us. If we don't pay attention and we just keep eating our dinner all stoic, the wasp is probably going to sting us. However, if we slowly get up, engage the wasp, and give it one of them, don't headbutt it, probably sting you, but you know what I mean, zap it or whatever you got to do, then we get rid of the wasp and we can go back to eating dinner. Now, we use this analogy because in order for us to stay aligned, we need to acknowledge the emotion that's trying to take us away from the goal. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how to stay aligned, the shifts that you need to make in order to stay fully focused and on target with the example we're going to be using is getting in shape and staying in shape. I mean, getting lean, getting strong. Lean is law. Look at the last video, and getting in that great physique that you deserve. In order to do that, we must stay aligned. So there's two pictures here. There's one to my left and there's one to my right. The one to my left, and I went out that night. I remember that night vividly. I went out because I was quite emotional about something and I wanted to, just drink it away. A lot of us have been there before where we go out with our friends or whoever and we try to just distract ourselves from this emotion, this entered our mind. And then the other picture is I went into the gym one time and I remember I had it written down. It is time to run a 5K fully. This is the first time I fully ran like a proper measured 5K, and properly tracked it time-wise, speed-wise, all of that stuff. I managed to run a 5K in like 19 minutes, which was great back then. I beat it recently, but it was great back then. And I remember specifically walking in the gym and thinking there is nothing I want to do less than run a 5K. Now, as I said, by the end of this video, we're going to understand exactly how to always stay aligned. Alignment is the undertone to becoming robotic. And in other words, becoming crazy consistent is through alignment. So without further ado, into it. Right, first of all, we have to, where did all of this come from? So if you're somebody at the moment, I think for myself, I've recently been not looking forward to training as much as I used to. I used to love training. I used to wake up and think, I can't wait to just get to the gym, just give me the dumbbells. And now I'm like, it's a part of the day, it's part of the routine. It's it can be so deeply ingrained within us, like the behavior of going to the gym, but ultimately sort of don't want to do it. And I'm currently in that space, which is really weird for me, but it's also very natural, which we're going to kind of touch on throughout and towards the end of the video. So I haven't been training, or I have been training. I haven't been feeling like training recently. And if you're someone that, if currently you felt like tasks that I've been doing are repetitive and don't have the same reward as that they used to, and if you're somebody that's sort of stuck in the same routine cycle and you feel like you need something new, these are all very natural, and that we all feel them. However, in order to stay aligned, or in order to become very consistent, or in order to become an extremely consistent person, we have to acknowledge that we're going to go through seasons like this. And we're going to have to know how to maneuver through them. So first of all, second of all, third of all, let's understand what emotions are when it comes to showing up. When it comes to, what are these things trying to do to us? So first of all, emotion is energy in motion. And when we really break down what emotion is, simply, it is just energy. It's a type of energy in a direction. How I like to break this down, and which has helped me stay consistent for years, is what momentum would this emotion create? I've tried to be clever and split up emotion, energy and motion. What momentum would this emotion create? So let's use the example of it's time to train. The alarm's gone off. It's time to train at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., whenever. And you're like, nah, don't fancy it. It's in the schedule. It's written down. You're meant to do it. But you're like, nah, don't fancy it this time. Something that helped me, because I used to do this. And what happened is I started to take it back and think, interesting. So momentum's real. All right, cool. We can agree momentum is real, and it's gonna make our feelings, get worse or get better. So if we don't show up to training at 8 a.m., 7 a.m. that day that we're meant to, and we say, no, don't fancy it, what momentum is that going to start creating? Because then tomorrow, if I do it again, well, now we're really starting to build momentum. And does this momentum align with the goal? If your goal is to put on 20 pounds of muscle, 10 pounds of muscle, get lean, start eating clean, do this, do that, whatever it is. Does this thing my emotions telling me to do align with the goal that I want? And we're going to be getting into alignment and have to stay aligned. But ultimately, I started asking this question and realized that these emotions, man, they're not, they're not too helpful. So the way I've sort of broken it down, I broke it down as a wasp, and we're going to break it down as a guest in your house. So imagine you got a guest in your house. They've turned up and they've taken a dump on the carpet. We're thinking, what's going on? Did you see this? This geezer's just had a dump on the carpet. And then we're going to be like, probably kick them out straight away. But then they imagine they run in your kitchen and had a wee. You know what I mean? It's just got it out, started weeing all over your kitchen. I'm pretty certain we'll kick them out. But we have this thing that enters our mind or enters our mind. We start experiencing these emotions, our heart, whatever you want to call it, wherever you think you feel them. Don't matter. But they're weeing all over you. Yeah, and we're like, oh yeah, listen, you can stay. What? Get rid of it. Get rid of it. And that's the best way. I genuinely think that's the best way you can look at emotions, as like a guest that's entered your house and started doing on your carpet and then gone in your kitchen and had a wee. You would kick them out rapidly. Get out of it. What are you doing? But our emotions do exactly the same thing. Our emotions do the exact same thing to us. And we're like, yeah, come on in. Stay for a bit. Get rid of them. So now we're going to know how to, right, let's take this because we have to acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge this. Yeah. And we need to transfer this into alignment. How do we stay aligned with our goals? Specifically in this case, training, eating well, staying on target, on like just consistent, all that stuff. Here we go. So alignment. First of all, we need to break down alignment. What is alignment? And when I say what is alignment, not the definition of it, how does it manifest into behavior? So actions that align with our values and our targets. So we'll use that example again. We've woken up, it's in the schedule. We've got to train at 7 a.m., 7:30, whatever. And our emotions tell us, no, you know what? I don't fancy it today. If your target was to put on 20 pounds of muscle, we can both agree we have to show up to the gym consistently and progressively lift more weights, more and more weights, and eat more and more in order to gain 20 pounds of muscle. Like, we can agree that's laws of gaining weight and putting on muscle. So we know the actions we need to take. So that emotion is trying to take you away from the path that you need to take in order to fulfill these values and targets. Interesting. Remember what we said, the guest comes in your house and starts doo-dooing on your carpet. Interesting. What are you doing? What are you trying to do here? So this is a protocol that I follow whenever I'm in these times. As of right now, I'm in this moment where I don't really look forward to training. I trained today, I trained yesterday, and I trained the day before, and I'll continue to train throughout the whole week. However, I'm not really looking forward to it. I'll be super honest with you. And this is just a protocol that I've used that has enabled me to stay robotically consistent for years simply because of this. So first of all, training even when progress feels invisible. That can be something that we find difficult. So what do? You might need a change of routine. You might need a change of scenery. You might need a different gym. Maybe, change your schedule around. You don't have to do the same thing all the time. It's about, remember, going back, alignment is actions that align with our targets and values. That doesn't mean the same action every single day that aligns. No, it doesn't. You can change the action. And this has helped me massively. I'm somebody, if you're the type of personality that just needs change, I do this with work. I work in one spot, then I go somewhere else, then I go somewhere else, then I go, like, the work still gets done. You just, it might be you need to change your routine. Next one, and this is something that we can all find difficult, especially when emotions rise and flare up. Eating clean without obsessing over calories. Just split your calories across the week. Now, there might be a day, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, these days, I don't know why I've done that in some weird order, but the weekend comes and suddenly we want to eat a little bit more. We want to go out with our friends. We want to do this. We want to feel these emotions a little bit more. Now, if we know that's going to happen, then why don't we just split up our calories across the week and take away some from Monday and Tuesday and add them to Friday and Saturday so that we can still experience it? These are just small tweaks that we can make in order to stay aligned with the goal. And then the last one is, and this is something I had to do. It's funny. I actually had to do this I think it was Monday or Sunday. I trained on a rest day. I shouldn't have done it. And then the next day I was like, I was done. And I was like, I'm meant to be training today. So choosing rest intentionally, not from laziness. So rest on the day that you need to rest. If you've written it down as Sunday, but by Friday you're like, then just change it. But this is really important. If you're going to change your rest day over, you need to make sure that it's changed over, which means on the day that you would have rested, then you train. So if you need to take rest, and if going in the gym is going to be useless, you're going to go in there and like half do it. Just don't go. This literally happened to me on Monday. I went in the gym for 10 minutes. I was trying to do bench press. I said, I am done. I ain't doing this. And then I went in the sauna. I said, I'm not doing this. And then the next day on the Sunday when I was meant to, the next day when I was meant to rest, I trained. And now you can do this. This is fine. We just have to stay, regimented with this stuff. So yeah, alignment over emotion. This is how to, stay consistent, constantly stay consistent. And because emotions are going to enter. There's going to be times where we don't want to do what we meant to do. There's going to be times where we're not feeling, as I mentioned at the start, if you're somebody that, I'll get these weird pictures up again. If you're somebody that does tasks for delayed gratification and they bring you instant gratification and they've stopped bringing you instant gratification, then you're going to reach this point where you're like, what is the point anymore? And ultimately, that's where we have to think about the goal and the target and the actions that we need to do in order to stay aligned with it. Emotions are real, they're there. However, we need to utilize them. And remember, if a guest came in your house and started pooping and peeing in your kitchen, they got it out and they're spraying in the kitchen, you'd be like, what the flip are you doing? Get out. But emotions can enter our mind and we're like, yes, you stay. I'll eat my Ben and Jerry's. You stay, it's fine. No, because it's going to take you away from the target ultimately. But yeah, that's been it. A little bit of theology, a little bit of psychology, a little bit of, you know what I mean? Whatever. Love. I'll see you in the next one.